What's good, everybody? Peek out here in Singapore, and it is a beautiful Tuesday morning out here in the tropics, and I actually wanted to bring you a little bit more information about the summit because I have another speaker to introduce. So today I want to talk to you about Tiffenny Monteith. She is the soul star of our whole summit, and I'm really excited because she gets to talk to you a little bit more about the spirituality and the... Without further ado, I'm hoping she joins us here in a second so you can get to see her yourself. Hey!
Hey.
Can you see me?
I can see you.
Awesome. How are you doing today?
Oh, hey, I'm hanging in there. It's Monday.
You've been busy, right? You've had a lot of things going on today. You've had like errands and stuff to run.
Oh yeah, a ton of stuff going on. So, yep, my life is crazy busy right now.
But that's good busy, I hope.
Well, you know what? It's just it's one of those things that I guess I had to plan for. And earlier in January, when I started my shamanic training, my mentor told me, expect this year to be rough. And I was like, oh no, I'm good. You know, I've done all my clearing work. I've done all my work on myself. I'll be good. It's been a rough year and it's only March.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's been a lot of big changes. I feel a lot of energy changes, and I don't know if I'm going crazy or if I'm just picking up on everything else around me. So it's been a little rough for me too. I definitely understand. So real quick, where are you based?
I am in Dallas, Texas.
Awesome. Very cool. Is the weather kind of warm?
It's crazy in Dallas, and we don't know what kind of weather we're going to get from day to day. It goes from raining and thunderstorms to beautiful 80-degree weather to tornadoes and hail. So we just
wow. I'm going to leave that alone. That's not going to help your energy either, right? With all the things that you already feel. Holy cow. So very cool. In Dallas, Texas, and you're actually going back through training again, your shamanic training. Can you tell us a little bit more about that so we understand?
So a couple of years ago, and I'm sorry, I'm walking through my house because
not a problem.
I have dogs going like crazy right now.
They don't know what they're up to, huh?
Yes, I have no idea what's going on outside right now. So we're going to let them in. Come on, go home. Let's go home. Home. Nico. And I have two. Into your cage.
Nice.
Come on.
What kind of dogs do you have?
There we go. I have a Yorkie Chihuahua mix and then a Husky Doberman mix.
Oh,
so,
I bet that's a beautiful mix.
You can see my little guy right here. Can you see him?
A little bit. Yeah, I see you. Hi.
Yeah.
You just want to be in the camera.
He does. He's a total people person. He thinks he's human. And then my other big one is in here. This is Ace. She's my big one.
Hi, beautiful.
Hey.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, okay. Time to go home. Yes, so
this journey of yours, you're starting over, kind of like relearning and learning new stuff as well. But you mentioned
new stuff.
Shaman training, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very cool.
That's
a very natural energy kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I'm there. Yes. So it's kind of one of those things where I started off down the path of energy healing several years ago. Okay. And I just kind of got led here with all of the work that I had been doing with holistic nutrition and health coaching and energy healing. I was just like, you know what, let me figure out what this shamanism thing is and see if it's a fit for, you know, who I am and what I'm doing. And so it kind of just naturally led me down that path.
Very cool.
Especially once I started, you know, playing around with my herbs and my tonics and changing the way that I ate and thought about food and how it was healing my body. It just completely opened up everything for me. And so I started going down this journey, and it's been very interesting, to say the least.
So basically what you've been doing is just kind of following wherever your curiosity leads, right? You just, hey, what is this about? Let me go research it a little bit more, and then you kind of like leads you to the next thing. Is that basically how it's been for you?
That's exactly how it's been for me. And, you know, part of it has been because I kind of grew up in an environment where my parents, you know, they believed in God, but they didn't really make us go to church or anything like that. So we were kind of really open to learn about religion and
Good.
spirituality on our own. Whatever that path led for us, we got to experience it. And
Nice.
so that's a great thing. But at the same time, it was kind of a hard challenge because I didn't really have anybody that was there to guide me through the process of what this thing called
So
spirituality
there's a
is.
lot more self-discovery, huh?
There was a lot more self-discovery, and
Okay.
but it opened me up to a lot of different things that I would not have been as open to if I
Okay.
had been brought up traditionally in the church.
I understand that. Hey,
So,
Camille and Anitra, I see
yeah.
them both joined us here.
Hey,
So a
hey,
little bit more
Camille.
with
Hey,
that,
Camille.
right? When
Yeah.
you didn't have a guide, you had to question a lot of things. You had to discover it for yourself. Do you think that was more to your nature, or do you think it would have been not necessarily better, but maybe easier to have a guide?
I totally think that it would have been easier to have someone that guided me through the process.
Okay.
In the early stages, for me, a lot of it was a lot of confusion around really what spirituality and religion was for myself,
Okay.
because I didn't, and I still don't necessarily 100% subscribe to this idea of Catholicism or Christianity
Sure.
from a King James version of the Bible. I don't
Okay.
100% disbelieve it, but I don't 100% believe it either. And so I kind of grew up in this space of being just really confused about whether or not that was the right space for me to be in. And I would
Okay.
go to church and just not be comfortable in that space or not feel like I belonged there. And so
Wow.
I kept trying new things and different things. And there was really no one to talk to about it, because when I talked to someone, it was always, well, then you need to get on your knees and pray a little harder. You're not
Oh,
praying enough. You're not,
wow. And
you
that
need to
leads
go
into
to
that church
church.
hurt that Charlene talks about. Wow.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Oh,
And so about 11 years ago, I hurt myself really bad. I threw my back out.
wow.
And when I did that, I ended up with a herniated disc with a 4 millimeter tear in the disc.
Oh my
And the
goodness.
fluid in the disc was pressing out against the spine. And the way that it was pressing on the nerves in the spine, it caused me to have partial paralysis from the waist down. So I couldn't use my legs. And
Oh my goodness.
so for about 3 weeks, I could not walk, and I was laid up trying to figure out, okay, well, what's next? I mean, I can't do anything. I can't work. I can't travel. I can't be a mother. I can't be a wife, because I really can't do
Oh,
anything for myself.
yeah.
And in that moment, I was kind of like, okay, God, if you're there, you need to show me, the way, because I
Yeah.
can't do it this way. I can't be laid up. I need you to tell me exactly how I need to get up off this sofa. And basically he was like, don't worry about it. Your body heals itself. I'm going to show you exactly
Yes.
what you need.
Yes.
Your
Energy
body
healing.
heals itself.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's
And
awesome. Okay.
so it ended up being energy healing, acupuncture, chiropractic care, um, and yoga. And that's what got me
Nice.
through that moment of my life and got me back onto my feet. And I would say 6 years ago, I completely came off every over the counter and prescription drug that
Oh
I
my
was
God, that's so
on.
exciting. Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah,
Now that is healing.
100% drug free at this point in my life. So very thankful about that. But going down that path of actually getting into doing yoga was
Yeah,
my entryway into energy healing and into
that's
some of
awesome.
these other healing arts. So, and it's been a wonderful experience ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just want to ask one thing. I know when people say chiropractor, the joke is, they got to break you to fix you. But how did you feel about your experience with the chiropractor?
So very interesting with the chiropractor, because I know a lot of
Yeah,
people say that, you probably shouldn't have your body manipulated. But if you're walking around with a hip that is out of alignment,
right.
and for me, my because of my back pain,
Yeah,
my back or my hip was pulling up into the hip socket. So it was jammed up in there.
right.
And so it was causing me to have, my left leg was 2.5 inches longer than my right. My right hip was jammed into the hip socket. And
That's a
so my
big jam.
pelvic,
2.5 inches? That's a
two and
big
a half
jam.
inches. It's a huge
Holy
jam.
cow.
And my hip was tilted. So to compensate for being, out of alignment.
Yeah.
So I'm walking around like this every day. I'm exercising like this every day. and I'm completely out of alignment. There's
Right.
no way for you to get your body back into alignment without somebody manipulating your joints and tissues to pull you back into alignment. It requires some type of either teeter table or decompression work or chiropractic adjustment to make that happen.
Yeah.
And I was really fortunate in that, and I've had more than one chiropractor. There are some bad ones out there. I will say that they are bad ones.
That's true in everything.
In everything.
Yeah.
And my very first one just happened to be very good because he was a functional medicine doctor as well.
Okay.
And so he really had a very good command of the human body and the biomechanics of the body. So when he was adjusting me and giving me the exercises to do, I was able to easily respond to that. My second doctor, chiropractor, he was trained in traditional Chinese medicine. And so he did a lot of energy work and had a background in acupuncture, but he wasn't necessarily doing acupuncture in his chiropractic business. But what he would do was he would actually...
But he had the understanding.
He had the understanding. So he would do like this kind of touch point tapping type therapy.
Tapping is only now coming out. Awesome. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So he would find like dissonance in the body. And when he would find those places where there was dissonance in the body, he would adjust me until the sound in the body was correct.
The frequency matched. Okay.
The frequency matched.
Wow, that's so cool. I really like the way this is going.
So that was a really, really cool experience. And he was the first chiropractor that actually took a full scan image of my spine. So he could show me where I had nerve compression at or nerve loss in the spinal tissue.
Because of that injury. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and because of that injury, so the one thing that I have learned over now that I've been studying this from having my back injury, because right now everything that I do is really about making sure that I stay healthy and stay on my feet, because I want to stay surgery free and medication free.
Right.
So what I began to learn was that part of the problem is that, we have this layer of tissue that runs through the body called the fascia. And when the fascia gets jacked up, it pulls and it gets tightened and it compresses and it pulls things out of place. And if you don't treat the fascia, even if you get the chiropractic adjustment, everything's going to continue to keep reverting backwards.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So what was happening in my spine, even though I had an L5-S1 injury, which is, right between the base of the tailbone and the pelvic bone, that disc was bad. It was reverberating all the way up the spine. So I had issues in my thoracic spine. I had issues in my thoracic spine. I had issues in my cervical spine area. And so in my neck, I would constantly have pain in the neck where I felt like I constantly had to crack my neck. I could never get my neck comfortable. It was causing headaches and all kind of things. So having that adjustment of my spine over time helped to balance and level out the spinal tissue and the nerves and bring them all back into balance. So I ended up becoming completely pain-free between doing that and then having my back treated with the acupuncturist. Yeah.
That's so cool. But I mean, and people don't understand that. Yes, okay, we have minor aches and pains as we get older and stuff, joint pain sometimes. Maybe we like dinged our foot somewhere. We don't really notice it, but we don't really like pay attention properly either. And it kind of like, it aggravates other things because we're compensating, like all these things happen at the same time. So I totally get it. Hey, August.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, okay, with your own journey, this is everything you've experienced to kind of like lead you to follow your curiosity and stuff. With your own journey right now, do you have a preference of how you like to practice your energy medicine?
Yeah. So for me, if I'm practicing on myself, it's a different practice than if I'm doing it for somebody else.
Sure.
So for me, my practice always starts with my ritual of meditation in the morning. And I try to get it in twice, but I don't always actually get my evening one in. But I always try to stick with making sure I get that morning meditation in. I find if I don't get it in first thing in the morning, the rest of my day could go haywire. It could just,
Got it. Okay. So it's like,
yeah.
regroup, focus, ground yourself, and let's go.
Yes, grab myself and
Okay.
let's go. And then I'm ready for whatever the world throws at me if I've had my meditation. If I don't, then, you'll probably see me like, oh,
Oh.
So I
Hey,
try to get that
Latoya.
meditation in the morning.
Okay.
And then from there, it's just a matter of I do daily things like I make sure that I'm drinking enough water, and I
Okay.
tend to always make sure that I'm charging my water, and I do one of two things to charge it. I either
I was
put
gonna ask.
crystals, yeah,
Okay.
I either put crystals in my water
Mm-hmm.
to balance out whatever I feel is going on with my chakras,
So then that
or
adjusts based on how you feel that day, like different
yeah.
crystals. Okay.
Yep, different crystals every day, depending on how I'm feeling.
Okay.
Or I'll do solar water. So I'll
Okay.
take my water, put it into a blue bottle, sit it outside, let it sit in the sun, and
Okay.
then I will drink the solar water throughout the day to
Nice.
energize
Okay.
myself. So
I'll have to try that.
one of those two
Interesting.
things to balance. And then,
Okay.
of course, if you walk into my home, there's going to be sage burning or Palo Santo burning to balance out and clear the space. And
Yep.
I do Reiki on myself, Reiki
Okay.
to balance my space, my room, my healing space, and even my office.
Okay.
I will even do it over my computer before I take meetings during the day.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I like that. I like that you are very intentional with everything you do. So then you really, you pay attention to the kind of energy that you're allowing into your space, allowing into, your conversations. I like that a lot. For me, it's solfeggio tones. I use a combination of solfeggio tones. So if I'm working, I'm usually in the house by myself working. So I'll have it going like really loud from the main room so that I can hear it throughout my house. And it's kind of like calming, and it gets me focused too. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I love to play those at night on my way to going to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
5:28.
charged
5:28
water
is my preference. Yeah.
Nice. Charged water and
water.
clearing your energy in areas. What's next?
So from there, then it's mindset. It's all about making sure that my mind is in the right space. So even before I get out of my bed and do my meditation in the morning, I actually do a mantra for myself every morning. That's just about expressing self-love. Okay. So I generally always start my morning with, I love you, Tiffany. You're going to be fabulous at everything that you try today. May this day be grand for you. And so I always say that mantra to myself in the morning, even before I get out of bed.
Nice. I like that. It's simple and it's very believable. I don't think people understand when you say affirmations, you have to believe it yourself. You can't just randomly say, I am feeling, or you can't say anything about, getting fit if you don't actually feel like you're putting in the effort to get fit. It has to feel true to you. Otherwise, you're kind of just repeating for no reason. So I like that. It's very simple and very, very believable. When you teach, do you have a favorite that you teach?
So it really depends because I have so many different things that I'm doing. Really, for me, my favorite space to be in is teaching yoga. Okay. And just having that moment to be with my students and get them to a space where they can learn to calm their minds and relax.
Right. And do you have a preferred type of yoga?
Yeah, my preference is hatha yoga.
Me too.
That's what I was, primarily trained in. But quite honestly, I've been learning a lot about Ayurvedic yoga, and that is quickly becoming my all-time favorite. It's just
because it's connected a lot of dots for you, right? We had a quick conversation about this.
Yes. It's so amazing. Like I go back to my training. It's been about 6-7 years ago when I got trained in yoga to actually teach it. And, even with hatha yoga, they kind of really teach you the physical aspect of yoga. Like you're focusing really on, how do you get into bird of paradise, or how do you get into the splits, or how do you get into pigeon pose? And you're really technical and focused on, constraints and contradictions and making sure that you balance out the pose on both sides. So it's a very technical way of teaching yoga. And so that's how I've been teaching for the longest time. And now that you do what you know
until you know better.
Yeah, you do what you know. And now I'm learning, Ayurvedic yoga, and I'm sitting here like, oh wow, like I've been teaching this wrong. Like for 7 years, I've been teaching this all wrong. Like, oh wow, okay, that so makes sense why I would change the way in which I'm breathing. So
Yes.
just the same
The
exact
breath
pose, I
work
can
makes a lot
do
of,
it,
yeah.
makes complete difference. It makes complete difference. And so yeah, I kind of threw out my old training. You keep the
But
core
to give
stuff,
you
but you
some
throw it
credit, I
out.
don't think it was
Yeah.
wrong, because at that level where you're teaching those your students, they only want to focus on the physical. They can't fathom how to incorporate the breath work at the same time. So for that level, I think it was perfect.
Yeah,
I
well,
used
you
to
know, and
teach
it's
older people, and they couldn't. They just focus on being limber if possible.
yeah, yeah. But you know, and it's really nice though because, and I do have a lot of older people because sometimes I'll teach the beginner yoga classes.
Yeah.
Um, it's very interesting to be in a room of people that don't know how to calm themselves. And
Yes.
so even in their practice of yoga, they're experiencing anxiety the whole time that they're practicing
Yes.
because
And
they're
it's really
so
sad.
worried about
Mhm.
doing it right that they can't enjoy the experience.
Right.
And so, and I've always kind of taught this way. Like if you walk into my classroom, you know, I'm joking, I'm laughing with you, you know, I'm coming over and I'm gonna come right behind you, make you sit on my thighs. We're going down in this chair pose today, whether you want to or not. Lift those arms up. I got you. Come on, let's go down. You know, so we have fun with it and we joke to get their head out of that space of
To forget a
trying to
little
be
bit and just be.
perfect and just
Yes.
be, yeah,
I
and just
love that.
enjoy that moment. Yeah.
And that's the mark of a real teacher, I feel like, because for you to let them relax and
Hmm.
forget where they are or who's around them or what's watching, like for you to be
Yeah.
able to allow them because your spirit is so allowing, I think that's beautiful. I think that's amazing.
Hmm. Oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, and they laugh, you know, because and because I'm the queen of plank pose too. Like we're gonna do 100
Okay.
planks today. Like you know, we're
Oh
gonna
gosh,
we're
okay.
gonna work on core. We're working on core today. We're doing planks, and
Hmm.
so that's usually the running joke is. I've had some students that made T-shirts and they came to class with T-shirts that say "I survived Tiffany's class."
That's cute.
Yes, just because of plank poses, but
Oh,
um, you know, but they'll tell you, you know, I've some of them have been practicing with me for about 3 years now, and when they started, they couldn't hold a plank, and now they can hold planks for 2 minutes. So, you
yeah,
know, that's progress
yeah. If y'all
without
have not
thinking
tried
about it.
plank,
Yeah.
you try for 30 seconds first and see if you can do it without jiggling or shaking or
Can-
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then, you know, start lifting your legs and lifting your arms and doing all this extra stuff with it. So,
Very cool. Wow.
yeah.
So now you're learning a little bit more about Ayurvedic yoga.
Hmm.
What else are you learning on this shamanic journey? I'm just very curious.
Yeah, so I just started with the shamanic. I'm doing a whole mentorship program in
Mhm.
shamanic practitioner, and so it's kind of just it's a journey process, and which is really really interesting because I've always been a meditator, but
Yeah.
doing the journey process is completely different for me than sitting in meditation. I'm used to sitting in meditation in quiet now. So I've gotten to
Yes.
that point where I don't need sound, I don't need music, I don't need guided meditation. I could just sit there in silence. But
Right.
when you're doing the journey work, you're actually listening to a repetitive rhythm over and over and over and over again. And that gets you to, you know, either the higher world, lower world, or middle world, wherever it is you're trying to journey to
Okay.
receive those messages. And so that it took me at least maybe 6 weeks to be able to get my mind to a point where it was like, okay, I can get right into this journey because I would be so
Wow.
focused on, okay, can we turn the drum off? Like, I don't want to, I just need quiet. Can we turn the drum off? I can't meditate right now because the drum
It's
is
almost
going
like
or the
training with
pedal is
white
moving.
noise, right?
It is. And so it
Wow.
was
Okay.
such a weird experience for me. But once I was able to actually get into that process of doing the journey and be in that space, it's completely different than being in meditation. I can liken it to if you've ever tried not yin yoga, but yoga nidra.
Yep.
Have you ever tried yoga nidra?
We usually
Yeah,
fall
where
asleep.
Yeah. Not the goal of yoga nidra, but yes, when I started doing it too, I fell asleep as well. And in fact, it's my favorite type of meditation to do. If I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't go back to sleep, I'll throw yoga nidra on and do a
Wow.
sleep meditation to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But yoga nidra is very much about, being very aware of your body and then taking yourself to that space of awareness just in between the physical world and the celestial world.
Yes. Okay.
So that space, when you're there, is where you can start to receive a lot of that information that you can bring back into the present. So I love being in that space. And once I was able to finally drift off and get to that point, oh yeah, so this year has been all about the things I thought that I had worked on. I'm revisiting them again.
The next level. This is
The
like,
next
yeah.
level of it. Yeah, like, I only scratched the first surface the first time. I put a little nick in, whatever that armor, or put a chink in there, but I didn't quite like strip it all away. There's still a little bit there. And so I'm revisiting a lot of things that I spent years journaling about, years meditating on, years doing energy work on to clear. Some of these things are coming back up again in new ways.
That's
In
so
new
cool. I'm
ways.
excited for you. You've got me a little more excited about meditation again. I'm gonna have to go back and revisit if I could do it with white noise or without. I have to, yeah, I
Yeah.
have to go revisit
Yeah.
that again.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, and you're already playing the solfeggio sounds, and that's a great way to kind of get into a zone and just sit there and just listen to that
I've been doing a lot
noise.
of chakra work, and I really enjoy the fact that it becomes white noise. At first, you notice the tone, but
Hmm.
eventually it kind of like fades to the background, and you're kind of left with your thoughts. So I like that idea. I've been doing guided meditations for a while, but I think I've been getting bored with it. So I want to
Hmm.
think about what to do next. So yeah, talking to you has given me a
Hmm.
couple ideas. We'll see what I come up with.
Yeah, definitely
Um,
like the ones that I love, like anything with body scanning, where you become aware of your physical body. I
So you were
love those.
mentioning yoga nidra. The way I was taught, we do a tense and release, starting with your toes
Hmm.
all the way up to your head. So it's
Hmm.
almost like once you tense it and release, you really do forget and let it go. You don't think about any of the aches and pains anymore, and you slowly work your way up. So it's very grounding to me. I really like the way I do that. And I've gotten a good response on it, and it helps you focus on the next thing. So if you're not worried about your body and how your body is laying and resting because you've tensed and released and forgotten about it, it's like now you can work on whatever the thoughts are that you need to focus on, whatever the mood, the visualization, whatever it is that you're working on. Then it's like all mind work after that. So I actually
Hmm.
I enjoy that.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite ways to meditate. But I just like meditation in general. Give me 5 minutes of, sitting with my eyes closed and just oming for 5 minutes, or, singing a mantra for 5 minutes, and that works too.
So this is only just one aspect of you. I need people to understand, like Tiffany, this yoga, this meditation, this Ayurveda, like all of these things, and then you healing yourself with a little
Yeah.
help from like a chiropractor and acupuncturist and
Hmm.
yoga and everything. All of
But then
these
I
are only just
also
one
do healing
aspect of
work
you.
as well. I
Yes, I
also
was going
do
to
the
say,
healing work as
you
well.
you
Yeah.
mentioned Reiki. You also do Reiki, correct?
Yes, I do Reiki, I do crystal healing, I do biofield tuning, sound healing,
Wow.
yeah, and aura clearing and extraction.
I know a
So
lot
yeah,
of
I do all of
people are
that.
interested in distance healing. A lot of people are still very, worried about being in the room with somebody when they do Reiki healing. Not everyone is
Hmm.
comfortable with being touched, or like they're a little shy of that stuff. So I know that there is such a thing as distance Reiki. Do you think that's still just as effective?
Yes, so
Okay.
it is, and actually, I almost find distance healing to be a little bit more powerful from a Reiki perspective
Okay.
when you do it at a distance, because people are less they're more relaxed. You're
Right.
not there in their
Their own
presence, so
space. Hmm.
they're in their own space, and they don't really know what you're doing or when you're doing it. I usually try to tell people, if I'm doing it by distance, set aside this time between 10 and 10:30 to lay down and just close your eyes and relax, and then
Hmm.
I'll do what I do from my end during that time period. they don't know what I'm doing or how I'm doing it. The energy goes where it needs to go, and it's moving.
Right.
All energy is connected.
Yes.
And it's connected beyond space and time, which is why distance healing works so well.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's definitely works. And I've had a lot of people that will, call me up and be like, did you do something? I was laying here and I saw all these colors, and then I kind of felt these vibrations, and I was like, she must be doing something, but I wasn't sure, So yeah, you can feel it. You definitely can feel it.
So that's interesting, though, when you said that they call you after. So you're not on the phone with them. They just know that they set this time aside, and then you're going to work on it at the same time wherever you are. And afterwards, is it customary for them to call you after? Are you expecting them to call you after, or they just happen to do so as well?
Sometimes they just do, or they'll set up a time to talk with me the next day or something like that, just to kind of discuss their experiences during that moment.
Cool.
Or even, sometimes I get the call and I'm like, I didn't feel anything. And that's okay too. I mean, energy is going to go and it's going to work whether you feel it or not. It's there. And
it's not always instantaneous. Yeah. It may, you have like an aftershock a little bit later or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow, that's so cool. So distance Reiki. What else do you offer as a healing service?
So I also do spiritual guide work. So because I did not have the benefit of having someone to talk to when I was going through my journey,
you mentioned,
I now facilitate for other people that are going through this journey. And, sometimes they have a difficult time when they're either bridging that gap between Christianity to some of these Eastern forms of spirituality.
Right.
And that's probably the hugest one I have. And then the other second one that I get is people that start this process and end up going through their dark night of the soul moment. Where they start to feel like they're going crazy and no one understands and why is this happening to me?
But it's like an awakening.
I just feel overwhelmed. Yeah, it's an awakening. And, I just know so many people that have had to go through that on their own without somebody there to tell them, you know what, you're not alone in this process. This can happen. Let's balance. Let's check your energy. Let's make sure everything's okay. Let's get things moving. Let's make sure that there's not any blocks. Let's get that flow of energy moving easier through your body so that the awakening process is not quite as difficult.
That's so cool. It's like a spiritual shoulder.
Spiritual shoulder to, cry on. Because sometimes it can be difficult and it can be painful. I've known some people that have gone through like their DNA activation process, and it's kind of like a series of changes to your DNA structure and becomes really painful in the body. And you're like, oh my God, what's going on? So to have somebody there that can support you through that process
it's everything. It means everything. There are so many aspects of it too, because I've tried, as you're learning, you kind of follow your curiosity, as you mentioned before. I've tried emotional coding, and that brought up a lot of things that I thought I had resolved and had not. And it actually connected me back to some of the people that had caused some of that pain, not realizing that they also experienced pain at the same time. So it kind of like, it helped me understand a little bit more. So all of these things, like, you suddenly have a feeling that was never there before and you don't understand why. It's really helpful to have someone that you can be like, hey, I'm feeling this. We talked about this before, you did Reiki before, and suddenly I'm feeling this. What is this? What's going on? And for you to help them troubleshoot and figure out what's going on, that's really very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with so I'm a survivor of domestic violence, family violence, right? And so for me, when I was going through my process, a lot of those emotions and feelings started to come back up for me because I'd never addressed them. I never went to counseling for it. Yeah. I buried it so deep, and never, I come from a community that very, we don't go see psychiatrists and psychologists or things like that.
That's taboo.
We're told that is something that we should be doing, that our mental health is a hugely important aspect that we should be taking care of at all costs.
Yes.
Like your mind is more often than not the thing that is killing you. And people don't
Yep.
realize that. Like, you know, you're
Because
not.
that voice is in your head 24/7.
It's in your, yes, it is. And, you know, you're wondering why it is you have cancer and you're the healthiest person on earth because you go to the gym every day and you're eating a vegan lifestyle. There's no reason why you should have cancer. You're absolutely right. What's going on in your brain right now? What are you thinking about? What are you focusing on? What are you refusing to address from your past? What have you not cleared out? And we're so good about, oh, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm just going to set it aside.
Out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
you pack it up, you put it away, you don't think about it anymore.
It'll go away. And no, it's not. It is registering itself into your cellular tissue, and it is creating stress in the body, and that stress is killing you. So we have to be very cognizant of what's going on in our mind and really work on making sure that we have a healthy mindset.
Absolutely. And I think it's finally a shift happening in the collective where people are realizing just how much emotions matter, how much your mental clarity matters, how much what you're telling yourself inside your head matters. All those things matter so much. So I'm really glad that you're part of our summit, that you get to teach all these things. Now, very quickly, what is the subject that you're going to be teaching on? I won't dig in, but I mean, just if you give us a title real quick.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am talking about manifestation and manifesting whatever you want in your life, but in the context of business, manifesting what you want in your business, because at the end of the day, it's about mindset there too. So
absolutely. So when you heal mindset in general, it touches everything. Just like you're not just a daughter, you're not just a sister, you are a healer, you're a business owner. So when we were talking about earlier, yes, all of these energy healing, the shamanic work is one aspect of you. You built your own business. You had to keep fighting for the business without quitting, without giving up along the way, without stumbling on all the hurdles and then just staying there. So all of that stuff matters, and I'm so excited that you're teaching that, because people think of manifesting like when they say abundance, they think money immediately, but it's not always like that. Sometimes it's just opportunity.
Oh my goodness, like abundance, like money is like this much of the idea of manifesting, right? And so, yeah, people think about things like, I want to manifest this brand new car, and I want to manifest this beach house, and I want to manifest this, this new wardrobe or this fantastic job. And that is fine and great, and those things can happen.
Right.
But if you start with manifesting health, manifesting happiness, manifesting love for yourself and for the other people in your life, it's amazing how manifesting love attracts abundance in money, in homes,
absolutely,
in cars, and everything else. It's like love is a magnet for everything. So
love is a magnet for your own self-worth. That works. So I'm not going to say any more about that, because I don't want you to give away the whole bag. They need to come to the summit. They need to come sit down and talk to you. But for those of you out there who are just joining us, thank you so much. This is Tiffany Monteith. I'm very excited because she happens to be part of our Business Mastery Summit. She's teaching about manifesting, but there's so much more to her. So I want you to go visit her profile. Her website's in her profile. Please go check her out. Go ask questions. Connect with her yourself. If you have questions about energy healing, if you have questions about yoga, if you have questions about spiritual work and connecting with your guides, any of those things, she is completely qualified to be able to help you because she's done it herself. Okay, this is her life's work. So she is an expert in her life. Anything you want to leave them with before we hand it over?
Oh, yeah. You know what? Just remember that who you are right now today is only temporary. So if you don't like where you are at in this moment in your life, tomorrow is whatever you choose to make it.
Exactly. But for that, you need to allow. You need to be open. So Tiffany can definitely help you with that. I want you to go connect with her. Ask questions, you guys. As usual, I will have more of our summit speakers actually on live with me, so you can see what they are, see who they are, see how they speak, understand what they're able to offer. Okay, 21 of us, end of April. Y'all better sign up. Okay, it's free.
Yes,
what could you lose?
Be phenomenal. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There's going to be so much information out there.
Exactly. Go get a pen, clear the time.
I'm coming with my notebook too, because there's some stuff.
Me too, actually. Actually, yeah. I'm not perfect. I'm good in one area, but there's like so much more to it. So yes,
there's so
21
much.
women are helping me too.
Exactly, because somebody's going to teach me how to use like all this Facebook, Instagram, and all that kind of stuff too.
We'll work on that. Definitely. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I really appreciate it. You guys, as always, we're open for questions. Please contact us. Sign up in the link in our bios. Tiffany's website is in her bio. Please check her out. Ask questions. Ask questions. If you don't believe us, ask questions. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
That's
I
right.
love you, girl. Thank you so much for
Love
your
you too,
time,
hon.
and I
Take
will
care.
catch you again soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.